It is Titillation Tuesday. We have it on the grid for here. Right? I read an interesting and titillating advice column. A person wrote in to the advice columnist, and she gives out sexual advice. And so, we started Titillation Tuesday 5-6 weeks ago because
just randomly
got an email that was titillating to me. I had mentioned that I ran onto the field at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill when I was about 8 years old and played imaginary football because I could, at that time, slip through the gates of the football field. And someone emailed and said, it's funny, about that time, I was dating the kicker for the football team at UNC Chapel Hill, and we had sex on the 50-yard line at 2 a.m. one morning. Right about that time.
Yeah, so you were titillated.
Yeah.
And certainly topped.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 1,000%.
Is your goal with all of this new diet, fasting, whatever you're doing, to get slipped through those bars once again?
Oh, my God. That would be
the football stadium.
Dream. If I could slip through the bars once. I think my head's too big. I don't think there's anything to do about my head. You know?
For sure. Yeah.
I told Chris Demm and Biggie earlier before you got here, Dave, I might get a little suction around the chin and, the love handles and stuff like that just to get rid of that old flab.
Going for a little tune-up?
Little tune-up. Yeah, see what we can do.
A nip tuck, they used to call it, right?
A little nip tuck, yeah. Because, you lose some weight, but the old skin still hangs.
Yeah.
You got to cut it away and, here and there. My wife's against. Insurance doesn't cover.
Yeah, and you'll look unnatural.
Biggie
I keep saying that.
Yeah.
As you get older, it'll look more and more. You'll have to go back in for retightening.
Yeah, that's true.
It's wine. I mean, you get what you pay for with that stuff.
Oh, you think?
So you got to go high end.
Okay,
and you're right, insurance don't cover it.
Yeah, and you don't go high end.
No, I'll get like a...
He does for his hair.
I don't.
No.
That's
eventually they'll pull it so tight you'll look like that Max Headroom.
Yeah. Yep. I know you've often
yeah. And that's all you'll be able to do.
Yeah. Could be career threatening.
Yeah.
Could be.
And you'll have grandchildren one day. You don't want to be in those pictures with grandkids.
You're right.
Bring me the baby.
God, you're right. Plus, if I get my uvula shaved, that'd be horrible.
But that's what if you watch
horrible.
We watch Top Chef.
Yes.
The cooking competition, and it's on Bravo.
Yes.
And all the ads for all the other Bravo shows are these horrific hose beasts who've just been stretched and tucked and nipped and zapped and scalpeled. They're terrifying looking creatures.
Yeah.
I've brought it up to my wife a few times, and she said, get over yourself. You're a man in your 50s. Enough.
But they're the role models. If you look at girls in their 20s and early 30s, that's what they want to look like.
You're right.
Because they're on TV all the time.
That's true.
It's not unnatural to them.
You're right.
So the Titillation Tuesday email is this. I'm in a loving... Now, this is from an advice column. I'm in a loving relationship with my partner, and everything is great. We love one another. We've been together 3 years. We support one another. We have a great sex life, if I do say so myself. This is from a guy, by the way, anonymous guy. There's one particular thing about our sex life, though, that I need some advice on. Almost every time we have sex, I find myself fantasizing about another woman. Almost always about my ex, someone I've had sex with many times before, who was great in bed. I also fantasize about other people other than my partner when I'm pleasuring myself. To be honest, I've never felt guilty about it, but sometimes in the moment I'll think, what is wrong with me? I'm sitting here making love to a beautiful woman, and all I'm thinking about is my ex while I have sex. Does it mean more than I think it means? Should I feel guilty about it? I noted that if my partner was to find out that I was thinking about someone else while we were intimate, she'd be devastated. Obviously, I never say a word. Sometimes I think I might accidentally scream the wrong name at the wrong time. Could be terrible. Is this something I should feel guilty about? Does fantasizing about a former sexual experience count as cheating? I'm torn. What should I do? The name is Guilty Pleasure. Let's see what Biggie has to say about this.
Human nature.
Human nature. Think about the other person.
To think about, I think sometimes.
Every time?
Not maybe every time, but I think the part about when you're pleasuring yourself to somebody else.
Yeah.
It'd be weird to me if the only person you thought of while you did that was your partner. Because I think that's just, you're just trying to get your jollies at that point. Who cares? You look at anything you want.
I agree.
However, I do think sometimes when you're with somebody, sometimes, even though you may have hated the ex, you start thinking about, well, this was good. I think it's just human nature to do that. I've done that.
But every time? I mean,
every time is a bit much.
It's a little overboard. He says he can't help himself. He says, I'm in the moment thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing
I think he's also in his own head too much now because he did it once or twice, and now it's all he thinks about is, oh, man, I can't think of her, but I got to think of her because if I don't think of her, then I'm going to lose it and disappoint her. Mm-hmm. So I think he's in a bad cycle now.
Guess so.
There's a difference between thinking of another person but thinking of somebody that's an ex. What happened there, and why is this, I guess it's a female, why is she prominent now?
It is, yeah.
I mean, you've got to, then you start questioning things like, why am I doing, why am I not with this other person if that's who I'm thinking
But
about?
maybe they were great in bed, but terrible out of bed.
Out of bed?
You know what I mean? I mean, just, couldn't get along, but had great sex.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
That could be it.
Yeah.
That could be it.
I know what Chris Tim's going to say. Here it comes. It's over.
Over.
O-V-E-R.
Yeah. He's not. He's the wrong person. There's not a match. If he can't be present during that moment with his partner,
that's right.
Then the day's right. There's he's not over the ex.
I think it's different that it's an ex. Also, if it were,
Yeah, if it was just if it was the neighbor,
Margot Robbie,
or the neighbor next door in her swimsuit or something, that's one thing.
Or Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom.
Dirty little secret is, I bet most people this happens to. They wouldn't admit it.
Oh, you think it does happen more?
Or a coworker, that's fine too. I mean, those all make sense. But an ex that you've had before,
because I think part of it is because you've had feelings for that person, good or bad, and sometimes I think that plays a role.
Yeah, but that reduces your current partner to just memory.
Well, he said she'd be devastated if she found out.
She's just a receptacle for your thrusting.
You don't want to know that. You don't want to tell anyone that.
Well, I'm not going to tell. I would never tell her. I mean, we'd never.
But honestly, I think a lot of people are receptacles for thrusting.
Yeah, but you don't call them a receptacle for thrusting.
Of course not, because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
There's
for being honest.
In the Hallmark section.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Once your partner becomes just a receptacle for thrusting, he's probably right. You probably should move on to somebody you think more of that.
Do yourself
I agree.
But people stay because of feelings.
But that's short-lived. He can go on. He can move on to somebody different.
Yeah.
He's still that ex may still at some point.
Right.
The new car is gone. And every new person is going to revert back to the ex,
the one who's still in his head
with sex.
You think but not everybody.
He might click with someone.
You might come across someone else.
I see what you're saying.
Who makes him forget?
Yeah, but she sounds pretty powerful. This ex.
Well, she does.
At least in the bedroom.
Thinking about the ex every time.
That's a tough one to fight off.
Absolutely.
It's a platinum vagine.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
You don't think it's that big of a deal? He's talking about.
I think every time. Like I said, I think he's in his head now with it.
I think more than once is a red flag. It's a major red flag.
It seems that way to me too. That it's more.
I mean, he's by himself thinking about her, touching himself.
Correct. He probably needs to get back with the ex. He probably needs to give
those bridges may be burned.
Well, really, what if she's married and moved on? Could be. Not a possibility.
That could be why he's doing it too, because it feels forbidden.
Could be. She may have dumped him and said, "Get the hell out."
Possible. Well, who knows? And he's not. If it's never going to happen again,
it's it wouldn't shock me if she dumped him and he couldn't get over it.
Sounds like he's still not over it. But he's been with this woman 3 years,
right?
And still thinking about the ex.
It's worn off. The novelty's worn off.
I feel like he needs to probably break up with this woman and say go on to the next.
I don't see a future.
I don't either. If he can't get the ex out of his head during sex,
not an honest future. Right. I don't see an honest future.
Right. You got to lie to himself then.
If he's going to break up with her, though, does he go ahead and tell her and say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry"?
No.
But what else? But what if everything else is great?
What difference does it make?
I think he should say, "It's just not working."
I still have feelings for someone else.
There you go.
What if everything else is perfect? He does love this woman. For some reason, it's just in his head when he's having sex.
And he said in the first sentence, he said, "Everything is perfect. We support one another. We're in love."
Stay the track, brother.
Counseling. No, I think. Listen,
counseling leads to breakups.
No, I think
just for him.
What if he asked the current to put on a mask that looks like the other girl?
Oh, one of those paper masks that you can make.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think that's over the line. Yeah, but wait. Yes, first I might do a counseling session just for him.
Have to be
okay. Maybe just counseling for you.
Tell the counselor. I'm thinking about the other one.
Cheryl out of my mind.
I can't get Cheryl out of my mind.
I'm boning Cheryl all day in my head.
But the woman I love.
All day, every day. Cheryl.
And the other woman's
I'm dating a vessel.
Receptacle for my thrusting. But then that counselor may say, oh, we have to have her in. We have to talk about this. You have to open up. I wouldn't do that.
No, because that's the end.
Yeah.
That's the definite end.
Wonder what the counselor would say. I mean, if a sex therapist or a couples counselor, what would they say to this man if he went in and told them this in 20 minutes? I would try to do some exercises and think about something else in my head.
I don't think it's
starting
uncommon.
lineups.
Yeah,
Super Bowls.
Yes, I'd go.
The states in alphabetical order.
Sometimes I do that when I'm trying to last longer. I'll think about
thrust.
I'll think about
like a 1993 Major League World Series.
Phillies, Braves. Excuse me. No. Blue Jays and Phillies.
And the pennant races.
That's right.
If you're going to be there for a while.
I'll go back to Game 5 of the 1985 NBA championship and think all about that. Yes, I'll go through baseball. I'll try to name the World Series winners every year or the Super Bowl winners every year.
Biggie's right about one thing, and it's not uncommon, I don't think.
I think you're probably right. Anonymous.
In the moment?
In the moment.
Anonymous.
I don't think people talk about it.
You want to comment on this guy? Go ahead, Anonymous.
Yeah, I want to say I've been with my wife for going on 8 years now, and I'm on the completely opposite end of the spectrum as this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing gets the job done for me quicker than I have a photo album when I need to take care of things by myself. I go straight to that photo album. Nothing does it for me better than that.
For the wife of your own wife.
My own wife.
Wow, good for you.
We had similar discussions to this long time ago, many years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Women would say they're honored by that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
well, you sound like you've got a good, solid marriage, Anonymous. Just go to the photo album with the wife to take care of it. Rusty.
Oh, Disney World.
You want to
Grand Canyon. Niagara Falls.
Rusty.
No, Branson.
Go ahead.
Kroger.
Yeah, like I was telling Biggie, I used to work with a guy who'd been married to the same woman for like 40 or 50 years. And I actually asked him about this, and he said that he only pictures his wife when having sex. It didn't matter who he was with.
Wow. Good for him. But wait a minute. But
wait.
Are you saying so he was with other people, not the wife?
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, that's sweet.
Some people get their hooks in you.
Some people are honored by that.
Some people, sometimes you can't move on emotionally.
Right.
I'm not wolfing around, but I'm thinking about you, darling.
Right. Yeah, I'm out cheating on you.
You're in my mind
but
the whole
at least
time.
you're in my mind, right? That's Titillation Tuesday. It's titillating. It's titillating stuff there.
Yeah.
We didn't hear from any females.
No.
By the way, the person that
who you think they're thinking they're going to agree with me?
Well,
I think of everybody but my husband.
The sex advice columnists agreed more with Biggie and said you can't help what comes into your head. You can't help those thoughts.
Oh, I agree with that.
But
there's something you need to come to terms
that person
with.
is still inhabiting your headspace.
Yes.
It's too much.